So the firm eventually goes out, right? Where do you go from there?
I mean, the firm was like, basically, Lance always struggled with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was one of those things where like he put so much energy into it and it didn't feel, I don't think he felt like he was doing the right job.
Right.
And I think, you know, it's basically like, you know, your favorite skater, do you want to see your favorite skater skateboarding or do you want to see your favorite skater behind a desk trying to be a businessman? Right. You know what I mean? That's going to kill them and that's not going to work. Yeah. You know, everyone, you got to find your own thing. It's so tough. He had the opportunity basically to ride for Flip and then Flip absorbed a bunch of dudes like Bob went to Flip, like to Lance. And then they asked Rodrigo to do it, to go to Flip. And I think it was kind of heavy because at the time I think Rodrigo wanted to maybe skate for some other people or didn't feel like you know the firm was really him, and then but he didn't want to say no, and he owed so much to Lance and Bob that he went. Yeah. And so that kind of broke up that, you know. And so you know, Uyghur was kind of like doing his thing. Yanni, you know, Laitiala, he eventually went to Blind. Yep. Uyghur, he went to Enjoy. Eventually, Javi kind of, I think, had an offer to really do Flip too, but it was kind of like maybe too much, or he didn't like the vibe or whatever, so he didn't do that. Gotcha. And then he ended up at Skate Mafia. That's right. You know, Ray went to like Element, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, like everyone kind of like, you know, a couple of the younger dudes at the time of Can't Stop went to Powell. You know, so like everyone kind of like, you know, broke up. Yeah. And so, you know, that was kind of like an end of a little era. Sure. For that. For sure. And then so you know, I kept, you know, filming. It was like 4-on-1 was like kind of like the main thing. Yeah. You know, and then just like helping out with other videos and stuff. But the next thing that was like my own thing was that LRG started like a team. Right. You know what I mean? They kind of like you know, they started a team like separately, and they kind of built up momentum and became like a thing. And they had like a skate team, and you know, like, you know, clothing company and all that. Sure. And then and I was approached by one of the guys who was the TM at the time about maybe doing a video. They wanted to do a video. They were going to go to Barcelona. They were going to go to Paris. Okay. And then would I like to do a video? And I was like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super down, you know, whatever. And it became one of those things where we went on this trip, and it was actually such a fun trip. And it was like Rob G, who I knew really well, you know, fucking Chico, Carl Watson, you know what I mean? Like Adelmo. It happened to be like a lot of dudes who were like, you know, really good homies. Sure. You know what I mean? And it was really rad. We made this rad thing, but it ended up being kind of a shitty project too, because like I didn't edit it, and then we, you know, try to get other people to edit it, and like whatever, it didn't really come out like that, you know. And so long story short, like that thing was kind of like a one-off, like one trip thing. And then the team manager ended up leaving. Then the new team manager was Tyrone Romero. Yeah. So Ty then was kind of like, okay, I want to do kind of things differently. You know what I mean? And you know, it's like, you know, even put on some new dudes, and like, so Kelly wrote for LRG, and then you know, like all these dudes, and he's like, yeah, you know, it's like, he's like, yeah, like let's do a trip. And I was like, yeah, let's do a trip. I took all the guys to China. We were gonna like do this trip. We went to China. It was like a super fun time. It was like amazing. It was like one of the early China trips. It was like I you know, I have a million stories. It was like, you know, all these dudes were my dudes, like Jack, Curtin, you know what I mean? Like all these dudes were like my dudes.
Rodrigo Peterson?
Yeah, Rodrigo Peterson. Like, so these are like my guys. Like, not only like the good skaters or whatever, but these are like my dudes, the homies, right? And so like we did this trip. It was super rad. It had this like huge article in Slap. You know, I brought Joe Brook for Slap, and Joe was like my best friend, so it was like such a rad vibe, you know. And at the end of the trip, Ty's like, he's like, hey man, like I want to make a full length video, you know, for LRG. And I was like, oh fuck, man, that's a lot of work, man. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, I want you to do it. And I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, wow, okay. It's one thing to go on a trip. Sure. It's one thing to like, you know, sign up, make a two-week edit or something. Something to like make a video.
Were you still doing 4-on-1 stuff?
I was still filming for 4-on-1 at the time. And then he's like, he's like, hey man, but this is a secret and this is what we're working on. But TX is gonna ride for LRG. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, that changes everything. Like, if TX gets on, I'll do it. Oh, wow. Yeah. So then he's like, okay, whatever. We were talking, whatever. And at the same time, 4-on-1 was pretty much going out of business.
They were getting close to done.
Yeah, so it's kind of fucked because it was like such a good run, and 4-in-1 it was like, you know, amazing, and it was like, you know, they did so much for me, and that was like a real family too. But then, you know, it was like the writing was on the wall. I mean, a video as a commodity, a video as a product. You make a video, you sell a video, was done.
Right.
You know, so if your business was making videos and selling them,
You're done.
then you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they tried to turn around and make it different things and this, that, and the third. But you know, that was coming to an end, and so the LRG project to me was like, it was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, cool. And all the homies and TX, you know what I
Right.
mean? So, you know, he's like, you know, like Rodrigo's like my little brother, you know what I mean? So if he's going to come, you know, I was like, let's do this. So we did it. We started off, and I was like, okay, like, I think it'll take like, you know, like 2 years or like 18 months. Like, you know, we'll do this many trips. Like these guys will have parts and like, you know, like this, that, and the third. And then like, you know, there's like these AMs, you know what I mean? Kelly's one of them, you know, Rodrigo Peterson's one of them, you know what I mean? You know, they put on Andrew Lange, you know what I mean? And then there's like there's the pros, and then there's like the fucking dudes like fighting for the last part, you know, it's like Jack and like TX. So, you know,
Dude,
like,
they were going nuts.
So I mean, you know, I jumped into it, and then like, you know, it's all these things. So, you know, it was my chance to make a video. You know, it's like, I mean, conceptualize sounds really like highbrow, right? But it was my turn to you know, come up with a concept, you know, like, you know, a look or like how it would sound, like music or whatever. So like, you know, I picked all the songs, you know, like, you know, filmed all the parts, you know what I mean, like all this stuff, and then I was like, fuck, dude, I mean, I always loved like Mouse, you know what I mean? I always like, you know what I mean, like videos like that, like even back to like, you know, like Public Domain or like Animal Chin or whatever, and they always had like a skit or like a thing, and so I was like, okay, fuck, I'm gonna make this thing, I'm gonna make this skit, and I'm gonna have like Adelmo and Frank be like, have Frank be Adelmo, because like, you know, Frank, that's also my guy, so like it's like I wanted to have like all my dudes in there, and like, you know, and Frank and Adelmo look alike, and like we'll make this funny thing, and then but I made it like, I was like, I didn't tell anybody. Like I didn't tell anybody what this was.
I was like,
so,
what
is Kelly, dude, like Kelly, I mean, I filmed with Kelly, we filmed a lot for that part. You know what I mean? And like I would stay at his house.
You kept the
secret. Like, he would come to San Francisco, and like, I wouldn't tell him. And I interviewed him like for like the
what do you
skits.
interview me for?
And I was
Like,
like asking him these questions. I was like, do you think Adelmo will shave his head? And he'd be like, no. Like, no, you know, but like not even knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
So I made this little skit and like whatever, and you know, we, you know, had that, and you know, LRG was two guys, right? Jonas and Robert,
Right.
You know, and Jonas was the creative, and it was an amazing guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like amazing guy, like inspirational dude.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then Robert was the money dude, the business guy. You know what I mean? And I mean, nothing against Robert, but like, you know, the creative element that Jonas brought like shaped what LRG was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it was those two guys, but they were really good together. It was like, you know, like the yin and the yang. Those guys were like, you know, they were friends from college, and them two together made LRG what it was. And then they fucking funded this video, and I'd be like, yeah, we're going to Spain, we're going to fucking China, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do this, you know, and then we do some demos maybe or whatever, but mostly it was all filming. I'm gonna go to Brazil and film with Adelmo. I was like, okay, I want to have footage of all these dudes, where they're from, and I want to show who they are, not just like have some tricks, you know. So they did all that, they funded all that, and at the end of the video, it came down to we're like putting it, and then like we want to see the video. You know, because I hadn't showed anyone anything, right? And then I was like, okay, fuck. So like, the video's 90% done. So I flew from San Francisco, where we were editing, to LRG, right? And then I showed Jonas and Robert and Ty like the parts, just the parts, nothing else, right? Just the parts.
Okay.
And then some of them were like, dude, that was amazing, and some of them were like, dude, this song is crazy. Like literally, like they're like, you know, like I showed them all the parts. They all watched it. They were like super cool. They were like, you know, watched it, like whatever, you know, really watched it. And then at the end, they were like, you know, like it's amazing. Skateboarding's great. You know, like the feeling is really cool. But yeah, we got to change the music. You know, and I was
Who
like,
are they tripping on?
well, so Rodrigo Peterson starts a video, and he's skating to like a Brazilian hip hop song with Brazilian rap.
Okay.
And they were like, we can't have that. Like that's got to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like that. He's like, can we use like liquid swords? Liquid swords. You know what I mean? Can you put some like, you know, like Wu-Tang in there?
Sure.
And I'm like, no, it doesn't really work. I'm like, we have this song. It's like a Brazilian DJ, and it's like, it's like a Brazilian rapper, but he's from Brazil, and it's like it fits, and it's like that's that shit. And then I wanted Carl to skate to this Public Image Limited song, and I had a one song, and then he was like, well, what about this other, and there was another song on the same album that he had just heard, like when I was playing him the first one. He's like, what about that song? And it's like, I didn't really think about that song, but that sounds cool and that could work. And so he skated to this Public Image Limited song, which is Johnny Lydon's band, who was the lead singer of the Sex Pistols.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so it was really kind of like out of left field for Carl.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
then Jonas was kind of tripping, like, that song is fucking nuts. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, but I tried to explain. I was like, hey man, it's like, this is the circle. It's like I'm making the video. Carl is skating in the video. Tyrone is like TM, and he understands the brand's role, and like us, this circle, we came with this, and we're cool with this, and this fits. So it's like hard for us to like go, if we're going outside of it. This is the creative process. You know what I mean? So like we need to be able to be free to within that group pick something. Totally. And Jonas is super cool. He's like, yeah man, but like basically I kind of like talked my way out of everything. But he's like, okay, the Brazilian hip hop, the rap has to go. Has to go. I was like, okay, dude, I'm going to go back. I'm going to edit it apart with a different song. I'm going to edit the part without the vocals. I'm going to send it to you. And then it was like Tuesday. And I was like, but Friday, we need to fucking master this video. So I'm going to send it to you. Please let me know what you think by Thursday.
Right.
And I knew that Jonas was all over the place and super busy. He was never going to email me back. So I went back and I was like, okay, let's edit this. Like, just take off the vocals and just have an instrumental or whatever. I sent it to him with a link. Okay, this is this and this is whatever. And maybe we played made another version with another track, and I was like, send it. Like, yeah. So like, let me know by Thursday by 3 p.m. because like, it's going to go to the master. If not, we're going to use this, whatever. I think here, check these out, but I really think the original version or whatever. And he never replied to the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
wow.
I knew. So I was like, fuck it. We're going to do it,
Yeah.
So we do it, and then we can have this video, and it's premiering April 1st, like in a movie theater in LA. And I'm like, we're making a skateboard video. I don't really know, and like LRG is like kind of a clothing brand, obviously.
It was
and,
big,
and it was like a
back
big
then,
thing.
too.
It was big.
It was like a big thing.
It was big.
Yeah, it was like a big thing. And you go in there, and then dude, we play the fucking video, and like no one had seen like the skit and like whatever, and it was like a full thing. And it's like, I mean, if you haven't seen the video, Frank Gerber is Adelmo Jr. And the whole thing is Give Me My Money, Chico. It's like Chico always betting against the guys on the team. And it was like, Chico betting and Frank talking as Adelmo. And it was just like this, it was supposed to be funny.
Sure.
Yeah. And so it's like, like Kelly's in it and he's like talking about Adelmo, like doing tricks, but like not knowing that it's like this whole skit. So he's super serious. Everyone's like dead serious.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like
yeah.
it made it even funnier. So this whole thing, and then everyone has all these parts or whatever. And then, so then, the fucking lights come up, the video's over and like everyone like, is clapping or whatever. And like Jonas comes up to me and he's like, amazing, dude. He's like, he was out of his mind, like he's drunk,
Sure.
and he's like, it's amazing. The video was amazing. And I was like, dude, you really like it? Like, it was all cool. He's like, fuck that. Like I loved it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you killed it. Like it was like such a rad thing. And I remember like Mike Burnett was like, wow, I didn't think it was gonna be like a real video. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was gonna be like a music video. You know what I mean? Like rappers.
Well, they got
and stuff,
LRG.
you know what I mean?
Skateboarders like in the industry looked at LRG like differently back then. They they didn't look at it as a skate company.
No.
So they had a lot. I don't know.
I mean, people had ads in a tree with a giraffe.
Yeah, dude, I wore
a
plaid outfit feeding a fake deer as an ad. Yes. Yeah, I know people hitting
people
me up
being you.
Right.
No, dude, I remember
some time.
seeing Mike Burnett in the bathroom after in the premiere, and I don't know him. And he's like, "Good job out there, buddy." I was like, "Thanks, dude."
Well,
I was hyped. I was like, "I even knows who I am."
Maybe the bar was low. You know what I mean? So people liked it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Well, you put talented people together who are skateboarders from the core.
Yeah.
You're going to get a...
It's gonna shine, no
Yeah,
doubt. Yeah,
you're going to
for
get a
sure.
great
I was
product.
trying to make Mouse too.
That's why I
At the
always
same
hear
time?
Tyrone was saying like, we got to make Mouse too.
Oh,
Yeah, but
yeah.
because I want to make a video that felt as good or
Right.
felt good
Right.
like Mouse. You
Right.
know what I mean? Not trying to make Mouse too, but like a fake Xerox. At least something could come out of it.
Sure,
maybe.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Man, you did it.
Definitely. It was a great video.
The number one thing is that like a year later, Jonas passed away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it meant a lot to me because like, he was super supportive of everything.
Sure.
And was there and like, like the video. I mean, it's kind of fucked. Like, I mean, you can't do that. You can't make a video for a brand and not show the video to the brand. You know what I mean? Like, imagine making a video for Nike and they never saw it. It's just premiere. Never. Yeah. It's insane. And I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I know better, whatever. I was just like, oh, this is going to be funny. I don't want anyone to see it. So when they see it, I want the team. It was for the team, basically, right? This video was like for us. It was for like Kelly. It was for you. It was for fucking Adelmo. It was for these dudes. Like, let's make something funny and like, let's make, like Chico, it was actually like Chico was completely serious that whole time. He actually he would bet against everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he'd be like, you can't do that. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do that. Yeah. But
$5.
It's just like fucked up,
But it's almost like reverse psychology. He's bringing shit. He's bringing the best out of you. No. But if you don't, I'm going to win some money.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Totally.
For sure. And also it's like, yo, I'm wasting my time. I'm here. We're stuck here. You better do it.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
That was Chico's thing. It's like, I mean, I seen him. We've been like skating something. He gets his trick. He'll go and eat fucking Japanese food. And like be like at the restaurant, be like, yo, man, like I'm about to order. Dude, you guys coming? And we're like, dude, this guy's still trying his fucking trick. We're at the spot. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and order.
Chico did not care. If
He doesn't
hungry,
give
he's
a
about
fuck.
to eat.
Yeah. He's like, he got his.
He got the clip.
I mean? And it's like, I wanted to kind of show that, like, how that was, you know what I mean? But Chico never bet against TX.
Yeah, smart thing. Yeah.
Chico wasn't really betting against Jack.
He's a smart bettor.
He's a smart.
He would bet against me. He would bet against me all the time, dude. Like,
he knows his odds.
Yeah.
But also, you were like the younger kid on the team too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and these some of the guys were like the veterans and stuff, and it was cool, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was fun, man. It was super fun.
I mean, and
So
Chico is one of those dudes in my life who the fucking first time I ever met Chico, he was the best dude and always positive, always welcoming. And like, he is like, to me, one of the guys like, dude, like fucking best dude.
He really is.
Yeah.
He really is. And if he's busting your balls,
He would, if he doesn't fuck with you, he wouldn't even say nothing. He won't say shit.
He won't say nothing to you.
He would be like, that dude ain't landing shit and walk away. He wouldn't tell you.
Right.
If he tells you, he wants you to prove him wrong.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's like the most important thing, obviously. So
Yeah,
it was like
definitely.
that was like a family, just like the firm was. LRG was a family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
With tracksuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were good tracksuits, though, man.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Hey, congrats on
Yeah,
that,
that was
bro.
super,
I mean,
super dope.
being your first video.
Yeah.
pretty
And then for
much.
being in the game.
Well, no,
for a
second,
while
you did the
and
firm,
making-
but you didn't really do.
Yeah, no,
But
exactly.
this was
Yeah.
your baby. Bro.
And you killed it, bro. I mean, I've definitely seen that video quite a few times, and I can't say that about a lot of videos.
It's such a nice feeling when you have the backing of the company.
Yeah,
when you have the
for sure.
freedom to go to China and Barcelona and Brazil and all this stuff to make a video, that's when the video is really going to be great.
Yes.
You know.
And
When they trust you to do what you do.
the soundtrack on that or in that video is like amazing. The whole thing,
They paid for some of that, right?
Nah, she was all free, my G.
Really?
So the way they were kind of first they started looking into
impressed.
it, and then they're like, fuck, well, shit, to get all this music, it's gonna cost like this. So it was actually released as a free DVD with the skateboard mag.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. So it was kind of like the way, like, oh, it was like a promotional video. They never sold the video. They would, sell like a T-shirt or whatever. You get the video free, so it wasn't.
Oh, I
ever
forgot that.
sold.
I forgot that was
yeah,
the
so it was like
angle.
kind of like a loophole at
It was
the
a promo
time.
item.
Yeah, it was like a
Promo
promo
item.
item. So the music wasn't like a big deal. You know what I mean? Now things have changed, and like you can't put anything on YouTube without like.
Well, you
know what I mean?
can. You just get you can't reap the benefits of the
Yeah,
monetization.
or the music is gone. Like I watched Carol's part in Modus the other day, and the fucking
it's
the,
gone.
the music. No, the part's there.
Yeah,
but
the-
No audio.
There's no audio.
Yeah. There's different stipulations, and YouTube keeps changing also. So like you could put, and it may not even be seen in some countries. Too.
Yeah.
So
You're
there's
in
a
a
lot of
country,
different.
yeah.
Depends
There's
on
a lot
where
of
you're
different
at.
things. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a shit show.
It is.
Where
You just got to punk it and whatever.
Yeah.
The,
See,
the
what
artist
happens-
gets the monetization. So no way to run a YouTube channel, but it's cool if you're putting up one or two videos.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that's skateboarding's history right there. So whether it's like Public Domain or Sick Boys or fucking, fucking Tim and Henry or whatever, all these videos, Mouse, like that's our collective history, and unfortunately you can't even show that to like a little dunny, like a young kid
isn't that
now,
crazy?
because they're like, oh, here's a part. But yeah, there was this really dope song.
Yeah,
But they changed the song. It's
But they
sold at
changed the
Best
song.
Buy.
Yeah,
but then they changed
yeah.
the whole soundtrack.
Yeah, it
and
was.
it's-
It used to
so
be David
bizarre.
Bowie. It was amazing, and now it's like the Allman Brothers, and
Right.
not so amazing. And or there's no sound at all.
Where is that like button? Right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
Subscribe.
over to it's on your
It's on my
left.
right? It's on
No,
my
on your left.
hey,
Yeah.
hit that
Right there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right
Yeah,
there.
please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of.
It's like right here?
Kind of.
Like
yeah,
right
and the
there?
subscribe's like over to the left.
It's like right over there. All right.